We conclude the course with an inquiry on how pre-modern societies drew on wisdom traditions to interpret and respond to disaster in manifold forms, whether disease and natural disasters, or political calamity like the fall of Rome and the Han Dynasty, and human-generated trauma of war. With the benefit of the distance of time and space, we can regard their understanding and assessments. We aspire to gain insight from such a retrospective examination to improve our present responses. Or will it be that certain patterns of assessment simply keep recurring despite new ways of understanding and responding to such disasters? In any case, we can at least hope. This week, we consider a macrocosm of the experience faced on an individual level by Job, whom we saw earlier in our course, and recall that he personally experienced natural disaster, disease, and the violence of human-generated calamity. Another example to consider is Boethius, who lived in the 6th century CE, and he was a senator in Italy whose family lineage included emperors and even a bishop of Rome. He was remarkably distinguished, and he served the administration of Theodoric, the Germanic king of Italy, and he had an illustrious career, including reaching the highest offices of state, and he witnessed his own children being honored with such high political distinction. He was also extremely well educated with a master-level knowledge of Greek philosophy. From these heights of wealth, culture, and political standing, Boethius was swept down when he was arrested by the state, falsely accused of conspiring with the Roman emperor in Constantinople to restore Roman rule to Italy. And after several years of imprisonment, Boethius was savagely executed, a cruel fate indeed. While he was in prison, he wrote a text called The Consolation of Philosophy, drawing on philosophy entirely from memory. And the text is a dialogue between himself and Philosophia, philosophy personified, which provides him with understanding and comfort, despite the horrific circumstances before him. Like Krishna talking with Arjuna, philosophy provides enlightenment. Boethius recognizes that there is an order to the universe, but wonders why human affairs are so subject to whim and folly that produces such suffering. And philosophy points out that love is present in the world and the force that brings harmony, but humans can rebel against this. He wants to reconcile the current, or really any calamity, with the idea of a supreme good guiding the universe, but it's really hard to see. Job and the consolation of philosophy, in a sense, are mirror texts from different ages and looking to different traditions, but responding to the horrors that are ever present in the world. Our religious traditions often point to the benefit of suffering. In the Christian tradition, for example, Paul writes, "Suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope," in the book of Romans. Through hardship, wisdom arrives. Others may respond to adversity by expressing support, while some others may actually turn away. And finally, such suffering may alter one's own priorities and life trajectory, viewing life in a new way to live each day to the fullest. The challenge for us is that we must endure adversity to grow, and that the highest levels of growth and development are only open to those who have faced and overcome great adversity. Such wisdom, it seems, cannot be gained secondhand. Some things you can't teach. One must experience them to truly learn and internalize those lessons. And this is beyond the explicit knowledge of facts that we learn, say, in this course, to a wisdom that is not acquired from others, but is gained through the experience of life. If parents could teach children wisdom, we would. But all we can do is provide children with a context for understanding, in the hope that they will be able to successfully navigate through those experiences. Parents can model wisdom in their lives, but they cannot give it to others. And so, an essential part of moving from childhood to adulthood is marked by the lessons drawn from those often painful and traumatic life experiences. And we weave these experiences into our own stories, into our outlook and how we live, how we think about ourselves, and how we relate to others. We make progress through sense-making, finding meaning in the experience, and in this, wisdom traditions often play a powerful role. Facing their own traumatic experiences, Job and Boethius proved resilient. But what happens when we extend this trauma more broadly from a single individual to an entire civilization? How did societies explain disaster, and how did they respond to it? Seeking answers to these questions is the goal of this final week's inquiry. And you'll see how this section connects with previous content in the course, linking with the wisdom traditions as well as with the environmental topics explored at the very start of this class.